We've got just one day until you can get your hands on Apple's newest products. The new iPhones hit the store shelves tomorrow, just a week after they were first announced.
But the tech giant is actually dealing with a few issues before they become available. Some of the products are actually already sold out. Brian Tong works with our partners over at CNET, and he joins us now from San Francisco. Okay, Brian, we knew these products would be popular, but how are these phones already sold out?
Well, here's the thing. I think the idea of something being sold out, especially with iPhone, sounds ridiculous. But I think if you look a little deeper, it's because A, there's always going to be huge demand, but B, Apple didn't necessarily ramp up the level of productions for these phones as they have in the past years. And what I mean by that is they still have a huge, large base, right? Half of their users are basically upgrading every year for the most part. But we have seen iPhone sale numbers actually decline. And if you talk about the buzz around the iPhone in general, although it is still a popular upgrade, this may not be necessarily the most popular, the hottest phone that everyone was just waiting or lusting after that we've seen in past years from Apple before.
And we should also note that Apple is good at stagecraft, not just laying out or keeping every detail secret until they make a big presentation. But the fact that phones are selling out could be by design, right? If they limit the supply, they try and increase demand, it will seem as if everyone really needs to spend this money to get these devices. But on your last point, why would someone who has a fully functioning smartphone that can make calls, surf the internet, and take high-quality pictures, as many of the Samsung devices do, really need to get this device? It is getting harder for Apple to make that case.
Well, I think a lot of people still are lucky enough to be like, hey, I want a phone that takes even better pictures and is even faster and stores even more things. I mean, it's getting to these small incremental upgrades where people, there's still a lot of people that might have a phone that's even 2 or 3 years older that are doing this, but there is still this association of brand new shiny toy that a lot of times people are attracted to. But to kind of go back on one other point about how Apple is kind of the master of really, shaping and telling some of these stories, we know for the first time ever that Apple says they will not officially release the sales numbers over the weekend of these iPhones. Apple's never done that before. They tend to be a very braggadocious company about, we sold X million phones. It's the largest upgrade we've ever seen. Because of their projections and because of the fact that their inventory is lower, I think it's more of a supply issue than of a demand issue.
So what's up with this limited availability? They said that for all of their products on Friday, they're going to have limited availability. How long will consumers have to wait?
Well, what Apple does is they put out a color that becomes the new color. Like last year, rose gold was the new black. Well, this year, jet black, this shiny, really pristine black is going to be the new black for them this year. And those are the models that are really sold out. The 7 Plus, which is the larger phone with the dual lens camera. And again, for photographers, and like I kind of joked about, everyone wants to take better pictures. It has arguably the best camera on a phone because of the capabilities it has. Those models, the 7 Plus, the higher end big screen phones, those are completely sold out initially. And then the jet black for the iPhone 7, those are also sold out. So people that are thinking that they're going to walk up to a store, wait in line on the morning of, or even starting today, they're going to be in for a rude awakening because they don't even have any of those available to sell just for walk-on people waiting.
Apple also took a big risk in getting rid of the corded headphones that we've all come to know and love. Were you able to test out what they call the Airpods, the wireless devices, and do you think it may come back to bite them, this thing you've got to pay more money for?
I don't think it's going to bite them. I think that public perception is, very lukewarm at best, if not a little more negative on the side of how the AirPods look. But everyone that has used them, I've been able to pick them up and pop them in my ears and whatnot. And the technology is what makes these special. But just because you have great technology, if it looks weird socially, if it just looks that bad, that's going to be its biggest barrier. But I don't think it's going to turn people off from using Apple. If you look at this is more of their idea of how they want to do wireless devices in the future. We all know, give it two years or so, these are going to look a lot better. They're going to function even better. So I'm not worried about from that standpoint how it affects them long term. But right now, I'm definitely not on the market for $159 to buy a pair of AirPods. But I think the technology in them is really special.
Yeah. I want to ask you, Brian, before you go, we've talked about the watch, we've talked about the iPhone. What about laptops and iPads? Anything new expected around the corner?
Well, we do expect to hear all the rumblings and bumblings. You know, there's a lot that's thrown out there on the internet. We do expect Apple to have one more event in October at some time, but mostly featuring Macs. This is, you know, a report from Bloomberg put that out there that Macs anywhere from the MacBook Pros and even the iMacs will get upgrades, but the MacBook Pro hasn't actually seen a physical really revamp or new rendition in over 3.5 to 4 years. And so it's prime time and ready to get something new like that. And everyone that's been waiting for a new Mac, I think that just sit tight around October. Even Tim Cook responded to a customer's email saying, stay tuned, that we should expect to see something before the year's over.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to it, Brian. And I got to say,
hold me to it.
I will, and I love your look. I'm slightly jealous. I wish I could rock it.
I've got that t-shirt.
Let's go to the islands right now. We can do this, Rena. Errol, I'll take you too. Okay, let's go.
All right. Well, we feel like we're already there with that t-shirt, but thank you, Brian, joining us with CNET.